Welcome back, nerds.
We're your hosts. I'm Chad.
And I'm Jake. This week, we're sponsored by Ray's Energy Drinks, an incredible energy drink with 0 sugar, 0 calories, and 0 crash.
We're also sponsored by Crybaby Craig's. It's the best damn hot sauce to come out of Minneapolis. It's a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce. Pretty much goes on everything.
Yeah. So this week, we'll be talking about Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 5, breaking that down for you.
We're also going to start picking apart the X-Men movies, starting with the 2000 movie, the first X-Men movie. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so this is the All Things Nerd podcast.
Nerd. Welcome back, nerds.
Yeah, welcome back to another week of the All Things Nerd podcast. So, Jake, how's Minnesota been this week?
Not great. You know, we had about a week ago, we had 83-degree weather, and this week it snowed for 2 days. So, yeah.
Oh, that's Minnesota for you, though.
Not fantastic. How about Ohio? Still pretty lame. The worst place ever.
It's not that bad, man. You'll like it when you come out here. But, yeah, I mean, I saw that you guys got snow, and I was like, well, crap, that's coming here in like 2 days. We didn't get snow. It did rain, and it was really cold. It was like in the 40s with rain. So, like, a cold rain is just... Mm-hmm. It's great to sleep, too, with your windows open, but taking a dog out in the rain when it's 40 degrees, and she just wants to play and run, and you're like, I'm cold, stop it.
Yeah, just take a shit already.
Just poop and go inside.
Just take an Ohio already. Come on. So we can go inside.
If it comes out the butt, it's a New Jersey. Come on.
Oh, God. Yeah, so not a whole lot going on here. We are planning a trip. Well, not we. I'm planning a trip to Ohio in the near future, and you guys will see us together again.
Mm-hmm. Just coming together, just...
Docking.
Those are kegels at work. Gross, I'm sorry. Sorry, Mom.
Anyways.
Oh, but something cool did happen this week, Jake. We got some new merch.
We did. So those of you who follow us on Facebook or Instagram would have seen that we got some t-shirts made from a friend of mine from school. I would say high school, but I've actually known her since like the 5th grade. Her company is called Mama Bird Clothing Company. And yeah, she makes clothes of all sorts of kinds, but she got us some t-shirts with our logo on it. We're really excited about it. When we do our live stream, we're gonna be giving some of those away. So
yeah. And we also got some coasters.
I forgot about the coasters. Yeah,
they're such throwaway merch things.
I brought some to the bar up there on Friday.
Yeah, so Friday. Our listeners probably won't get any coasters, but
you won't.
If you're hanging around, like the cities, you might see some All Things Nerd podcast coasters just floating around.
And if you do, please fucking take a picture of it and post it to our website.
And also tag the bar you're at.
Us. We just think it'll be cool to see
tag us on Instagram, tag the bar that you're at.
Yeah.
If they have more than one of those coasters, take it with you and leave it at a different bar.
Ooh, yeah.
I want to see how far these can go.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun. So let's do that. All right. So yeah, that's kind of a recap of our lives. I mean, it's springtime. Nothing big is going on personally for myself. I've already moved, so there's nothing going on. So with that being said, though, let's dive into episode 5 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Sam and Bucky show.
Yeah, this was a pretty cool episode.
This was an intense episode, both emotionally and with some action.
I mean, it really kicks off where the last episode, immediately where the last episode left off. Basically, John Walker just fucking murdered somebody. Spoiler alert. And
Oh yeah.
runs into like a warehouse and starts like yelling at himself. And then Sam and Buck show up, and shit gets wild.
Yeah. Sam first starts talking to John, just trying to like talk him down.
Yeah.
But then at the end of Sam's speech, being like, hey, like if you explain your situation, like people know your military history.
Yeah.
Like
giving your background, they'll go easy on you.
Yeah, they should take that into consideration. And then Sam was like, but you have to give me the shield. And John did not like that.
He doesn't like that.
He was like, oh, so that's what this is about. It's like, no, you just murdered someone in the streets on 20 different cameras. Like, that's what this is about.
And they fucking go fisticuffs.
Oh my God. Well, what's cool is John's like, you don't want to do this. And Bucky, who's staring at the shield, not at John. He's staring at the shield, then looks up at John and goes, yeah, we do.
Yeah, it was sweet. We won't break it down like minute for minute, but my favorite part about that whole scene is that after they eventually get the upper hand and beat the shit out of John Walker.
Before that, I did want to mention, because obviously anytime Sam gets hit by John, it's a big blow because Sam doesn't have the super soldier serum.
Yeah.
Him and Bucky John and Bucky are pretty evenly matched, hard hits, throw the other one, whatever. But so Bucky starts using like the Falcon suit with like the wings. He uses a grappling hook to try and take the shield, and John doesn't let go. And what's cool is John gets like thrown across the warehouse, but then he catches his feet. I think it was on like a forklift or something, just to like plant himself so that like he's not being dragged. But I just thought it was so cool because he's just like standing sideways on this forklift, like resisting Sam trying to take the shield, and then just yanks and throws Sam down.
Yeah.
I thought that was so
obviously
cool.
For those of you who don't know, in the last episode, John did take the super serum, so he is now super soldier status.
Yeah, and quite unstable.
Yeah.
I mean, he was already unstable to begin with, so his instability is just kind of heightened by the super soldier serum.
But yeah, so they fight, they tussle for a little bit, and then
John rips the wings off of the Falcon suit, which will come into play a little bit later. Yeah, that's the only reason why I'm mentioning it. I'm not trying to break down every big moment.
You're fine.
But
I don't give a shit.
But yeah, eventually Sam and Buck get the upper hand, and what happens?
Bucky grabs the shield, puts it on, which is what I've wanted to see since
they snap John's arm.
Oh, they
to get the shield off of it.
Bucky literally breaks John's arm to get because they're
at the elbow.
Both of them are pulling on the shield to get it off John's arm, and fucking Buck just breaks John's arm, pulls the shield off, puts it on himself.
So dope.
Sam ends up on the ground after the tussle or whatever. But my favorite part of the whole scene at the end of the fighting or whatever, because we all know from like the first episode or second episode, it was the second episode, that Bucky is really upset with Sam for getting rid of the shield that Cap gave him. So now Bucky's wearing the shield on his arm, walks up to Sam, who's like laying on the ground, and he just fucking throws the shield on the ground at Sam and then walks away. And I was like, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I loved that. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, no, and it was a super powerful scene because then Sam, like, who's obviously hurt, he's, had a huge fight with a super soldier. He's in pain, crawls over the shield, picks it up, and in pain, he's wiping the blood off the shield.
Yeah.
Which I thought was super powerful too. And then that's kind of the end of that scene.
That's like the opening scene of this episode. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Yeah. I feel like the rest of the episode it was good.
There's a lot
it was a lot of build up, but it was
a lot of drama too, like somber. Not a lot of action, but
there's a lot of big things that happened that are going to come into play.
Yeah.
With the last episode is this Friday.
Yeah. But we do see Sharon Carter is kind of a bitch.
Yeah, I've always known that.
But she was the one that, at the very beginning of the series, she was the one that had hired the Algerian, the pirate, Barack the Leaper.
Oh, yeah.
The Algerian, because she's like talking to him, and she's like, if it wasn't for me, you'd still be in an Algerian prison. Like, she's the one that got him out, she's the one that hired him, and she's like, I have a job for you, and this time I'll pay double. And that's, like, the scene, but that's, I mean, you start to see that, she's not just dealing art to underground criminals, like, she's actually, like, paying criminals to commit crimes.
Yeah. Yeah, she sucks, whatever.
Yeah.
She's a total badass, but...
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, she's just kind of, like, lost her faith in the soldier, or not the soldier, but the hero gang.
The government in general.
The government,
yeah.
But we do see, because of John Walker murdering the flag smasher in, like, that town square, he does get discharged by the government.
Yeah, that seems pretty cool.
It, like, shows him at his hearing. They're telling him that, like, he's no longer holding the title of Captain America. He no longer has any authority to act on behalf of the government. And he kind of snaps at them. And he's like, I understand, but you made me.
Yeah.
All I've ever done is follow your rules, follow your orders, and I did it well.
And then doesn't he, like, yell, like, I am Captain America?
Yeah, and then he says, I am Captain America.
Yeah.
And then
they're like, not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then before he leaves, they're like, you will hold no rank in retirement, and you will hold no benefits. So basically,
no pension.
They're like, basically, we're cutting ties, and you're fucked from now on.
And then they say, and you have to give us back the shield.
And return the shield. Which he doesn't have.
That's pretty cool.
But then we get a cameo.
We did get a cameo. And
it's kind of a half-loaded cameo.
You got to... so her name on the show is Valentina, but I always... Even though we just talked about this, I forget. I know her last name is, like, Dreyfus. She's from Seinfeld.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah, that's her whole name. I'm sorry. I don't know why I can't remember that, but I can't.
It's a lot of names.
But yeah, Valentina shows up, has a little talk with Johnny Boy, and yeah.
And the reason that this was kind of like a surprise cameo instead of like a shocking cameo, was because she's supposed to show up in the Black Widow film,
which she will. But that Black Widow was supposed to have already been released before. Falcon and Winter Soldier.
But Black Widow takes place during those 2 years between Civil War and Infinity War.
Yeah. So we were supposed to have already seen her, and then that would have made her reveal in this show a bigger deal. Unfortunately, that
COVID
movie keeps getting pushed back. Yeah. Now it's till June or July, I think.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
But
expect to see her again in that movie.
But the comics, Valentina works for an organization called Leviathan, which is kind of another globally reaching underground evil organization, kind of like Hydra. Yeah. Like in the comics, they kind of like rival each other for who's trying to get world domination and shit like that.
She also had in the comics a romantic relationship with yours truly. No, just kidding.
Jake is in the comics.
She and Nick Fury had a romantic relationship for a while in the comics.
So we'll see if that's going to be part of the storyline or not.
I hope so. That'd be cool.
I hope that it kind of ties it back that way.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. But yeah, so I mean, we don't know a lot about this character other than setting up a long-term big bad organization.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, there's a lot of big things that happen towards that, like the last 15, 20 minutes of the show.
Well, Sam gives up his suit. He gives up his wings
Which are broken.
Yeah, which are broken. So he doesn't want to...
Which is why Chad mentioned it a little bit ago.
Yeah. So they're broken, and he's talking to Joaquin Torres, or Danny Ramirez is the actor's name. We haven't seen him for a couple of episodes.
Yeah. But
he's talking with...
he's the dude in like the first or second episode that got fucking curb stomped.
Yeah. And so he's talking with Sam and basically says, like the government's taking over this whole flag smasher deal. Like, you're being benched more or less. So, like, what do you want to do about it? And Sam's like, call me when you have a lead. And just, like, walks out of the room with the Captain America shield, but leaves his flight suit on the table. And Torres is like, what do you want me to do with this? And Sam's like, keep it.
Yeah.
But
in the comics, Torres does take up the suit for a while and is Falcon for a little while. So
So it'll be cool to see. I mean, they're kind of hinting at that.
Yeah.
Already, which is awesome. Because also, even in the first episode, Torres is talking about, like he wants to help Sam like fix Red Wing after that first opening scene of the first episode.
Yeah.
And, he wants to get his hands on that tech just to kind of learn. And, like, he's a big fan. Like, he just wants to help.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're setting it up well.
What else big happened in that episode? Towards the end,
Zemo.
Especially. Go ahead.
With the whole Zemo thing?
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's huge.
So, at the end of... Well, partway through the last episode, Zemo escapes. So Bucky goes looking for him.
In this episode.
Yeah, in this episode. When he finds him, that's where we get the scene from the trailer where he is dropping the bullets out of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He basically finds Zemo. He's at the Sokovia Memorial. Pulls a gun on him. Talks to him a little bit. But then... doesn't kill him, showing him that the gun is on.
Yeah, Zemo kind of basically is like, I knew it was still in you to like be a killer. It's always been in you or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Buck pulls the trigger and it just clicks, and then he drops all the bullets out of his other hand that were in the gun, showing more of Bucky not being the Winter Soldier, which is
showing his growth.
It's a huge character development for him.
Yeah, absolutely. This entire episode made me so proud of Bucky.
Yeah, like throwing the shield at Sam, well, not at him, but on the ground, was huge because he was pissed that Sam gave it up to begin with, and that was like hey, here's the fucking shield, ass hat, and then walked away. But also, he should have killed Zemo, which is what basically everybody expected him to do, but he didn't.
Yeah.
It was huge.
But then also, so then it shows Sam goes back to Louisiana to be with his family while he's waiting for a lead on Carly and the Flag Smashers, who have basically gone underground.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a bit. There's a couple of scenes that, show her and what they're planning. But so Sam is like, well, they're trying to fix up their parents' old fishing boat so that they can sell it because it's driving his sister and his family further and further into debt, and they're just drowning. And so they're trying to get rid of it, but they have to fix it first. So Sam basically calls on like the entire town to get them to help where they can, bring spare parts, whatever. And Bucky shows up again. And he starts helping. They start kind of like bonding, talking. Bucky starts flirting with Sam's sister, Sarah, who...
That's funny.
She is beautiful. Oh my God.
Clearly has a crush on him, too.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they flirt back and forth, but... she's a beautiful woman. My goodness.
Marvel knows how to pick them.
They do. But so at the end of like this, it's almost like a montage scene of them like fixing up the boat.
It's like music and Sam's trying to pry shit off of the boat, and Buck just comes up with his robot arm and like rips it off. And,
yeah. There is a funny exchange where like a pipe is like, it doesn't fully burst, but it's like leaking. So Sam like goes over to try and tighten it, and Bucky comes over and he's like, no, you got to do it this way, and like uses more strength. And then Sam's like, why didn't you just use your robot hand? And Bucky's like, because it's his left arm. And he's like, I don't always think about that because, you know, I'm right-handed. It was just funny. It was a throwaway line, but it just shows how far Bucky has progressed into like becoming himself again.
We didn't actually. So before these episodes, Chad and I usually kind of talk about what we're going to talk about a little bit. But there is a huge thing that we missed when we talked about this. It just popped into my head, and we need to talk about it. Isaiah Bradley makes his return.
Yeah.
And his nephew, and it's a really big moment. I also think again, this is not a political thing in any way.
Yeah, like, but it is a very culturally relevant thing.
It was very relevant to what's happening now, especially Chad's from Minnesota. I live in Minnesota, and there's a lot of crazy shit happening right now.
Yeah,
and this was a huge moment that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I can't talk a whole lot on it because I am not a person of color.
Yeah, I'm barely a person of color, so I don't want to talk a whole lot on it.
I can only sympathize. I cannot truly empathize because I just can't. And I recognize that, so I don't want to get into it. But Sam and Isaiah Bradley have kind of a long heart-to-heart about some of the things that were going on back then and how they've persisted. And because Sam originally brought the shield to Isaiah to give to him basically just as like an apology for Isaiah to have, and he's like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
He's like, it means nothing good to me. Yeah. And they kind of go back and forth, and then at the end of it, it's a really emotional scene.
Sam basically says like, why weren't you Captain America? And then Isaiah says, because I don't have blonde hair, blue eyes, and white skin.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
And even though, and they kind of talk about like why Isaiah Bradley got locked up in jail for those 30 years. Mm-hmm. It's because he basically got court-martialed in the military because he snuck out to perform a solo rescue mission that was not approved of other experimented on soldiers from his platoon or battalion, team, whatever.
Yeah.
To save their lives because they were just going to bomb the POW camp because they were captured and had super soldier serum in their blood. And so because he wasn't a fitting face to be the next Captain America, they jailed him and experimented on him.
Yeah. So he's like lifts up his shirt and he's got scars all over it, but yeah.
And it's super sad. And Sam,
I'm sorry I just sprung that on you.
No, it's fine.
We didn't even talk about that at all.
No, but it's a huge part of the episode.
Yeah.
And it's a huge part of the series. It's an underlying tone of the entire series and a message. And that's been confirmed by Marvel and the showrunners that, this is what they're trying to portray also as a side as a side plot. Excuse me. But so, at the end of it, Sam is just apologizing, and Isaiah Bradley's like, no, like, they didn't want a black Captain America. And he's like, and no self-respecting black man would want to be Captain America.
Yeah.
And Sam kind of takes that to heart at first. So that's why he goes back to Louisiana and is like, yeah.
Because he even says to him, he's like, Steve Rogers didn't put you in prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the institutions that he supported did.
Yeah, exactly.
And that supported him. Yeah. Wow, that got deep.
It did.
I'm sorry if anyone thinks that we should not be talking about this sort of stuff because of who we are, just let us know. We'll stray away from it in the future if you think so.
Yeah.
Or
we were talking about the episode, to be fair.
Yeah.
But I did say that because of what's happening here in Minnesota and Minneapolis, that it was a very relevant scene.
Yeah.
And that's on me. So if you guys don't want us to talk about that kind of stuff, like Chad said.
Or if you'd like to hear the perspective of people that at least can sympathize when that sort of stuff is relevant to the content that we're creating. We're not going to go out of our way to be political. I don't want to do that. Jake doesn't want to do that. That's not what this show's about.
All Things Nerd podcast.
But if there's something that correlates to certain things and you guys are okay with it, let us know also. We just don't want to overstep any boundaries.
Overstep, exactly. That's the perfect word.
If you don't think that we're the people to talk about it and you don't care about our opinions on it, let us know. Because we're totally fine with just only talking about the nerd stuff and not correlating.
Yeah. And that wasn't Chad's fault. I'm the one who totally brought that up. So.
Well, yeah, and I'm not trying to. We're not pointing fingers here. But it was a big part of the episode. But from there,
jumping back into it.
Yes. What was really cool, getting back into it. So after the whole montage scene of them fixing up the boat, everything like that, Bucky's like, okay, well, I got to catch my flight tomorrow. I'm going to go stay at a hotel. And Sam's like, what are you doing? Just stay here. Like, just don't flirt with my sister, but you can stay here. And so what was really cool was Bucky, wakes up on the couch. He sleeps on the floor at his own apartment. Bucky is woken up by nightmares every night on the floor of his apartment.
Yeah.
Bucky wakes up peacefully on the couch at Sam's house to his nephews running around playing with the shield, and he doesn't like yell at them. He's just like, "Hey guys," and they're like,
he smiles.
Yeah, but he wakes up peacefully.
Yeah.
Like it. I think I shared that it was a TikTok video actually of someone who like put like a perspective on that scene and just this episode for me, and I sent it to you, but about how Bucky's therapist would be so proud of him.
Oh yeah,
for this episode. He slept through the night, no nightmares. He opens up to a friend. He lets his guard down. Like, this episode shows so much growth for Bucky. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
You can see my pup.
Go ahead. What?
You can see my dog. She called up onto my bed. It's just sleeping. I just noticed that she was there. Sorry.
There's like one big thing that happens at the end here, and then I think we should wrap this up. But there's a huge part at the end of it where John Walker, who's pissed, and we should mention that Valentina basically tells him that the government doesn't own Captain America's shield.
Yeah.
And so at the end of this episode,
before we do that,
what?
Before we do that, I do want to talk about like the shield throwing between Sam and Buck.
Oh yeah,
they have a big heart to heart. Bucky does leave to go home, but he basically tells Sam like, "Hey, when you have a lead, call me and I'm there." And that's where we get the back and forth of them being like, "Are we a team? No, we're professionals. Yeah, partners. Yeah, we're not that good. Co-workers." But then they like shake hands, they part ways, and Sam, there's two montages in this episode, which was a bit much, but when like Sam is like training with the shield, because Sam decides he's going to take up the shield. He's not going to let like the history of Isaiah Bradley stop him from progress. He's not going to be bitter. He's going to take up the mantle and do it right. So he starts training. And it was really cool. Like, it shows him throwing the shield around, him dropping it a lot, him running, working out, like just preparing.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it shows him with a briefcase that he's about to open that Bucky brought him from Wakanda.
Yeah.
We don't know what's in it, technically, but...
We know what's in it.
It's his Captain America Falcon suit.
Falcon suit, yeah.
But we haven't seen it yet. So we don't know how badass it's actually going to be. It's going to be badass. What?
Something just occurred to me.
Uh-oh.
But we got to talk about the ending scene first that I was about John Walker. And then, yeah. Okay.
Well, before we get to John Walker, one last thing. It shows Carly.
God damn you.
She meets with Borak, the Leaper. I started off really liking her, and now she's dead to me. Still cute, though. But so Borak, the Leaper, the Algerian dude, Georges St. Pierre, the MMA UFC fighter, is the actor. Basically, the Flag Smashers hire him. Oh, my dog just ran out into the hallway and started growling. That's awesome. But so they hire him. They're gonna do something, but it turns out that they're in New York City. They're no longer in Europe. The Flag Smashers. They're now in New York. That's about all we know. Credits roll, but there's an end credit scene. So this episode does have an end credit scene. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, Jake, you talk about it.
So, trying to get to this.
You've been trying to while skipping half of the episode.
Basically, so that lady, Valentina, says that the government doesn't own Captain America's shield. And it's true. I mean, whatever. Anyway, so the end credit scene is John Walker making his own Captain America shield, which is fucking scary. But what just occurred to me, which is why I made this face, is because that means there will be two shields. And I've been wanting Bucky and Sam. I like Sam as Captain America. I really, really do. But in the comics, it happened a different way. And I really wanted Bucky to take up the mantle of Captain America. And he wears the black suit and all that shit. So now that there's going to be two shields, maybe.
But Bucky this one won't be vibranium.
Huh?
This one won't be vibranium.
So?
That's fair. Point proven. Okay. I think that this one's going to be much more flat and much more of a weapon.
Yeah.
Because
for sure. Yeah.
Because John already used it to kill. So I think that this one is going to be a little bit more.
Yeah. Because there's a picture of it already online, and but they show like two weld marks that go down this way from like the star in the middle of it.
Yeah, but when it showed it in the end credit scene, there weren't those weld marks.
Not yet.
I think that the only reason why they showed that was just as a teaser. I don't think that it'll have weld marks. We'll see, though. There's only one episode left.
So that's that episode. And yeah, sorry. We're going to jump into our first sponsor here, and then we'll come back with some X-Men stuff and be a good time.
Yeah, so just listen up for like the next minute or so, and you'll hear about our first sponsor, which is Jake.
Crybaby Craig's. Pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce.
All right, listen up. Hey, you nerds. Do you love spice? Supporting small businesses? What about enhancing the flavor of your favorite foods? If you said yes to any of those, our good friends over at Crybaby Craig's have the perfect solution for you. Crybaby Craig's is a pickled habanero and garlic hot sauce that goes perfectly with your favorite foods, adding the perfect amount of spice and enhancing the flavor of everything it touches. Started in Minneapolis by Craig back in 2012, Crybaby Craig's has become a Minneapolis and Minnesota staple in the sauce world. So head over to crybabycraigs.com and order yours today. All right, guys, welcome back. So this week we're kind of doing a throwback here. So we got some requests to dive back into the X-Men films from our first live stream. So we're getting into that now. Kind of had to wait a little bit for a couple of our listeners to get caught up. And by a couple, I mean one in particular who happens to... two in particular.
Yeah,
Who's
my cousin.
Oh, your cousin.
Tina and her boyfriend. And then Nicole.
Well, yeah, because
Nicole
had to get a couple of movies ahead of where we were so that we didn't ruin anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we're diving back into the X-Men films. So we're going to start this week talking about the original X-Men movie from the year 2000.
Yeah.
A whopping 21 years ago.
Jesus
God, that
Christ.
movie can drink.
That's insane.
That's fucked.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably one of the most notable things about it is that it was 2000, so it was just barely out of the 90s. And if we know anything about the 90s, is that they're cheesy as fuck.
Oh, yeah. The movies have a lot of cheesy humor, a lot of cheesy, terrible dialogue.
The dialogue, the graphics weren't fantastic.
For the time, though, they were amazing.
Dude, yes, they were. Yeah.
I rewatched the movie this week because we're going to talk about it. And there were still parts where I was like, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
A couple parts.
Yeah, a couple parts.
There's also some... Yeah, I don't know.
There's also
I don't want to be a jerk about it because I'm actually a really big fan about it.
Oh, no, I absolutely love the movies. I hate that they don't stay true to the X-Men lore.
Yeah.
But that's because there was no MCU, there was no Marvel Studios.
And that's also why they made Days of Future Past, which we'll get to eventually.
Yeah, where they retcon everything.
Yeah, they can fix some stuff. But yeah. This one is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's
for what it was great.
Centered around Rogue and Wolverine, I think, is like the main center of the heart of the film is.
But like
Rogue
a super unswole Wolverine. Unswolverine.
The thing is, here's the thing.
He was not Swolverine back then.
He was still...
Oh, he was in good shape.
A very big man. I mean, we talked about this already. Hugh Jackman is 6'1".
6'1", yeah.
And in the first Wolverine movie, he's still a big guy by any means. But compared to later down the road Wolverine...
Oh, yeah.
No.
This Wolverine was not having his daily cup of muscle milk.
Yeah. No,
he was not doing his 2-a-days and only eating boiled chicken and steamed broccoli.
Yeah. It was but yeah, it was pretty fun. One of the big things that Chad and I kind of talked about was they really, really downplay Rogue.
They just made her kind of like a horny teenager. Like and there's a weird connection. She's like in love with Wolverine.
Okay. I don't think it's weird for her to be attracted to Wolverine, but what you're saying is that you think Wolverine is attracted back to her, and I don't think that's
I don't
true.
think he's attracted, but there's like, it's not just a paternal instinct. There's a little bit of something there, and it's
I think
weird.
he's just protective. He's just protective of her.
Well, but she has a daddy kink, and it makes it uncomfortable. But they strip Rogue of like all of her best powers. Like she can't fly. She's not super strong.
That's what I was trying to go with.
She basically just like touches people and takes their powers.
Yeah.
And like all she wants to do. In the comics,
Rogue can fly. She's super strong. She can also. She's
also super intelligent or super tactful.
In the movies, they make it seem like. When she takes another person's ability, one of her main power is that when she touches another mutant, she can take and use that mutant's power. But in these movies, they don't really do that. The only time that they actually really do it is...
They do it twice in the first movie, and then that's kind of the end of it. Then
well,
she's
and
just
then
kinda
in the
there.
second one, she steals the pyros when he's blowing up all the cop cars and shit.
Oh yeah, and she kisses Bobby and then like breathes
Yeah,
cold.
she hits an e-cig and then goes.
Yeah, she vapes.
Yeah, yeah, it's dumb. But in the comics and I remember when watching the cartoons, she was a badass.
In the cartoon, I've also seen a couple of like fan films of like Rogue and Gambit.
Yeah.
And she fucking kicks ass.
Yeah.
And
Gambit was like constantly trying to get with her and she was like never having it.
Yeah.
But yeah. They really downplayed her in the X-Men series and that's kind of a bummer.
And like she's like afraid of her powers, where like in the cartoon and the comics like she uses them to her advantage.
Yeah.
But in this film she basically was like all she wants is she just wants to like be able to touch dudes and she can't.
She wants some diak.
She wants some diak.
Some diak.
Some diak.
And it's very it's very like
she's fixing to fuck ya.
But do you think like here's the thing. All right, let's get real for a minute, okay? Do you think that if you wore cuz like she wears gloves so that she doesn't hurt people, right? So if you were to fuck Rogue, okay? Not my dog, I'm talking about the X-Men character. My dog's name is also Rogue.
Yeah, I know.
If you were to fuck Rogue, the X-Men character, and you wore a condom, do you think you would be okay?
It'd be like a love glove, right? So,
yeah.
I think that your peen would just be fine. But, you know, there's still thigh-on-thigh contact.
But only for, like, a split second. You know, you'd be like...
Yeah, but so what's it going to do? Slowly drain your libido? Take away some of the power?
Does
it turn your cum shot into a cum drip? Sorry, Mom. Sorry.
Sorry, Mom. It just like falls out of your penis instead of like shooting out. It's just like.
I'm sorry to anyone who stuck through that.
I really, really hope my mom just subscribes to this, but doesn't actually listen. But for reals,
for real, they downplay one of the coolest characters, though.
Yeah,
like Rogue is really so badass.
Like one of the like strongest X-Men characters out there.
Yeah,
and they also really downplayed Cyclops.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
They also made Sabretooth a chump on the bad guy side.
In the first movie for sure, but the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
Well, yeah, because he's an equal to Wolverine, except for he doesn't have the adamantium.
He says, "Fucking
bone claws,
getting my nails did today."
Yeah,
yeah.
But in the first X-Men, even Sabretooth, he's got like a Boy Meets World haircut for his eyebrows. Like, did you notice that? They're like, he's got straight hockey flow coming from his upper eye.
Yeah.
It was just, it was so cheesy.
And he didn't have like, I think he had like one line in the whole movie.
Yeah. And they made it seem like he doesn't know who Wolverine is. Like,
yeah.
You're kind of destroying like character arcs at that point in time.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate.
In their defense, I don't think that they knew how successful the franchise was going to be.
Oh, absolutely not.
When they made that movie, so they were like, all right, you know, we don't need to go into this. And then here we are like a million years later, and they're like, oh, fuck. We fucked up. We got to fix this somehow.
Well, see, how they fucked up was that they didn't establish any backstories for any of the characters.
Yeah, no, not
and that
really,
was the problem. That was one thing that the MCU has done really well, and will hopefully. Yeah, your hair looks weird.
It was like sticking like straight out.
But the MCU has done a really good job of establishing characters' origins and backgrounds. and then building from it. And that was a huge mistake of Fox's X-Men. Even when they brought in, like, later in the movies when they tried to reboot it with, like, the First Class and all of those things, they still missed the mark on truly establishing a lot of characters because they tried to do it in, like, 15-second flashbacks.
Yeah. Well, like, one of the things that they did was that, and, like, we'll get deeper into this as we go through these movies going forward, but in First Class, since you brought it up, they had what's the kid who shoots the beams out of his chest?
Havoc.
Havoc, yeah.
Yeah.
Technically,
that's Scott Summers' older brother.
He's Cyclops' brother, but they never mention that.
They don't mention it until I think Apocalypse.
They never mention it.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
Yeah, but it's not in First Class, and it's not Days of Future Past either.
So it's got to be that crappy one. And then the other thing that
Apocalypse.
Dark Phoenix was not good. I'm sorry.
Oh, that one wasn't good either. But no, because Havoc.
I thought Apocalypse was pretty good.
That's where they established that they're brothers. Is in Apocalypse.
What was the other one I was gonna do? Oh, god damn. Oh, in Deadpool, Deadpool 2, sorry. They never touch on the fact that Cable is Cyclops' son from the future.
It's his son? I thought it was his grandson.
No, I believe it's his son. Nathan Summers. Yeah, it's his son.
Okay.
And
I thought it was his grandson, but...
And I've mentioned this in, like, one of our very first podcasts, that from the future, Nathan Summers, Cable, I don't know why I did this, because Nathan Summers is Cable, but he states that the greatest superhero in the world in the future is Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I can agree with that. I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We should go back and watch the Sam Raimi.
You're killing it, Tom Holland. Keep it up.
But we should go back and do the Sam Raimi Spider-Man also.
Oh, yeah.
Moving forward.
We will. There's plenty of content that we can fucking go back on.
And before Blade, we'll have to go back and do the Blade.
Oh, the Blade trilogy.
Those
yeah,
are so
for sure.
Good. Well, the first two are good. Yeah. The third one was...
You mean when Slade Wilson came into it?
What?
Wade Wilson. Wade Wilson.
There we go.
Anyways, X-Men. Yeah. If you guys have any questions about X-Men, Chad and I know quite a bit about it, and you can ask us about it. Yeah. Especially on the live stream too. Maybe we'll start talking a little bit about X-Men 2 on the live stream. I don't know what we're gonna do with that.
I mean, like, not to talk trash about these movies, because they really paved a path.
Yeah.
For what they set
the tone for sure.
But I mean, we're not going to dive into, like, a lot of plot details unless it's, like, grossly off from the comics. Yeah. Because I mean, these movies have been out for 20 years. Which
there are some instances like that we will.
Oh, as we move forward, we'll get into it. But for the original X-Men movie, like, all it really was it opened a door.
Yeah.
For what's to come. And yeah, like you said, Jake, they had no idea what the success that was going to follow it. So they didn't take the time to properly establish the universe.
Yeah. I remember watching it wasn't a documentary. I watched something on Hugh Jackman, and he was talking about how his wife and him, after the success of the first X-Men movie, which nobody really knew what was going to happen with it, and he had been advised to not do the movie altogether, and he did it anyway, and the movie blew up, and his wife was like, that was like his real big, because he was a Broadway guy before.
Yeah, he was a stage actor.
Yeah, and his wife was like, everything's gonna change now, and now look at him, he's like one of the biggest fucking guys in Hollywood. So Marvel.
There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean that's kind of X-Men in a nutshell. I mean, just kind of talking about some of the characters, what they got wrong, or how they downplayed them.
We should probably mention. So in the first movie, they really only introduce Jean, Professor Xavier, Cyclops, Wolverine, Rogue, Magneto. I mean, who am I missing here?
Toad and Sabretooth.
Yeah, Toad. Oh, yeah, Toad didn't come into the second one.
No, he was in the first one.
Was he?
Yeah, because that's where we got the super cheesy line from Storm. Want to know what happens when a frog gets struck by lightning? The same thing that happens to everything else.
You're right. Yeah.
Dumb.
I thought that was the second one for some reason. Yeah, so dumb. The same thing that happens to everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and then they kind of hint at a couple other characters like Kitty Pryde.
Did. Yeah, they hinted at her.
Bobby.
We get to see. They show. I think in the second one they show Jubilee, but they don't actually. That's a huge problem for me. Is Jubilee in the comics and the cartoons growing up was a fucking badass, and they never fucking brought her in.
And she was in episode 1 of the cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, she was there from the start.
Yeah. Jubilee's a badass.
Yeah.
And they just showed her, like, at a museum in, like, the second one. We'll get into the second one. Yeah, we'll get into that one. But, yeah. This is why we do this, because I'm getting worked up talking about it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a podcast.
But so not to drown on about X-Men, we'll dive deeper with the films as we go along in their storyline. But so with that being said, before we close out the episode, we do have to talk about our second sponsor, which is Raise Energy Drinks. So just hang tight for a little over a minute, and you'll hear some great ways to save money on an excellent energy drink, and we'll be right back with you. What's up, nerds? I wanted to take a minute and talk to you about Raise Energy, an incredible energy drink that provides max energy with zero crash. Raise Energy takes a giant leap of faith with instilling a high-quality formula to bring a powerful yet sustained energetic experience to help you push your workouts and focus to the next level. Perfect for anyone at any time, and powered by their Refresh formula technology, Raise Energy delivers a performance-enhancing energy drink that aids in multiple different categories that include targeted focus, better recovery time, improved clean energy levels, and a boost in stamina and hydration. But most importantly, every can of Raise Energy has absolutely 0 calories, 0 sugar, and 0 carbohydrates to give you a smarter and healthier option. So don't settle for an energy drink that contains more sugar and carbohydrates than you can count. Instead, head over to repsports.com. That's REPPSPORTS.com and use the promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout for 15% off your order. Or if you don't know what you want, go ahead and click the link that's in the description to get a $50 sample pack for free. All you do is you cover the cost of shipping. Again, make sure you use promo code NERDPODCAST at checkout to let them know that we sent you.
All right, guys. So that pretty much does it for our episode this week. We are going to talk about our live stream, which is this coming Friday on, right? This coming Friday?
Yeah, the 23rd, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's the 18th. Yeah. So this coming Friday on April 23rd, about like 6 p.m., would you say?
6 p.m. Central.
Central, yes.
Central Standard Time.
Most of us who live here in Minnesota, and then this guy. But yeah, so we're gonna do our live stream. We got some awesome so our first live stream, we didn't really have like a ton of cool stuff to give away, other than we had like some stickers and hot sauce and stuff like that. This month we have some t-shirts again from Mama Bird Clothing Co. Company, and So we're going to give away some T-shirts. We're going to give away some hot sauce. We're going to give away some Raise energy drinks. We're going to give away some other things that we think are funny.
Yeah, some stickers, some gag stuff.
Yeah, there'll be some surprises in there. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we hope you guys tune in. This will be for the release of the Mortal Kombat movie, so we'll do the live stream, and then after the live stream, Chad and I are gonna watch the movie.
Yeah, I'm so excited for that movie. It's gonna be intense. But yeah, so we're gonna do what we did last time. We're gonna do a power hour ish.
We'll come up with some cooler games going forward, but the power hour, I think this week or this, it will be. This
it's
week,
the first time that we're gonna do a live stream where we're someplace different. Also, so we got to figure that out too. How we're gonna do it. So yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just do a power hour again. Should still be a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last time. A lot of people tuned in for it and were participating, which was awesome. So we'll definitely do that again.
There'll be some trivia questions. I think we're gonna do probably 4 questions again, and then it'll be, I think, at the halfway point.
2 of the questions are going to be a little bit more obscure for the bigger giveaways.
Yeah, so the big giveaways, we won't say what they are, but the big giveaways are going to be at the halfway point and at the end of the episode. Yeah. And then we'll do a couple small giveaways too, which don't be discouraged if you get a small giveaway, because those are also going to be really cool.
Yeah, you still get a lot of cool stuff with them.
Yeah. Chad and I, in the past few weeks here, have obtained quite the fucking amount of cool podcast shit, merchandise.
Yeah.
And so whether you get the big prize or a little prize, you're still going to get something pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
We've been pouring our own money into this. This isn't nobody else has given us money for this. We're doing this for you guys. And because we love talking about nerdy shit. And
this is literally like a dream come true.
Yeah.
When we started this podcast, Jake and I were like, I think maybe we'll have like 10 listeners.
And how many listens have we had total, Chad?
Total listens, I mean, several hundred, but we've had upwards of, like 70 listens on single episodes. We've had some that are a little bit less, but it is what it is. You're not going to...
kind of hit or miss, but
We're still growing, but we completely blew past our expectations.
Our own expectations, yeah.
So we just want to give back, because we would be doing this anyways.
Yeah.
But now that there's actually people interested in listening, we want to do stuff for you guys.
Yeah. Also, with that being said, Chad has been playing video games on Twitch. I think this is very nerdy, and that's totally fine, because this is the All Things Nerd podcast. And I didn't know that this was an actual thing, but there's a thing where people will just go online and watch other people play video games. Yeah. That's all they do. They just watch other people play video games. So Chad's been on Twitch. So I'll let you take it from there, dude.
Yeah, so I've been playing a few different games on Twitch. Mainly Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which isn't that nerdy of a game. And by that nerdy, I mean it's not nerdy of a game. But the whole Twitch aspect, the streaming aspect, kind of gets in a little bit of that geek and nerd realm. But I also have been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Because I haven't finished the story of it. I got it right when it came out 2 years ago. A year and a half ago.
Probably,
and
I bought my Xbox a year ago, and that game came with my Xbox.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I got that game for my birthday 2 years ago. It was like one of my few birthday presents from someone.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't care.
I did not mean to react to that.
No, I was trying to make you laugh, so it worked. But So yeah, but I only played like 30% of the game, and then I decided when I moved out here to Ohio that I'm not going to have a lot to do, and I don't want to.
Because it's Ohio.
My main goal of being out here is to save money, so like I don't want to be going out all the time. So I was like, you know what? I'll just play video games and I'll stream them. So yeah, I've been playing like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, Jedi Fallen Order. I have several more games that I'm going to be playing, but we're on Twitch. That's where I stream to mostly, but sometimes I'll stream to like Facebook and YouTube also. So if that's something that you want to, it's also a fun time that isn't like podcast related that you can interact with us. Against Jake's better wishes, I got him playing some video games, so he'll be on sometimes.
It's not that I don't like playing video games, because the Fallen Order that he is just now playing, I beat that game. And I thought it was a blast. But he made me play Call of Duty live with some other people. Let's just say I sucked really bad. Yeah. Some of the guys that we played with were not so nice to me for sucking as bad as I did.
But we played with some cool people too that were like, we got you, man.
There were a couple of cool people that I was like, hey, man, I suck at this. I'm so sorry. And they were like, we got your back, bro. Don't worry about it. And then we also, on the other side of the spectrum, played with some guys. And I was like, hey, man, I suck at this. This is my first day really playing this. And they were like, God damn it, you're on my fucking team. Like, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, guys.
I don't like to dwell on those people.
Yeah.
But we'll also play like some zombies. Like
I want to play zombies. Yes.
I ordered the game. It's in the mail. So when it gets here, we'll play some zombies.
On the Call of Duty 4?
Yeah. On Black Ops 4.
You actually bought it?
No, I rented it from Gamefly, who is not a sponsor yet.
Yeah.
I was looking I looked into the microphone, but I was looking for the camera. But yeah, so we'll be doing stuff like that, and it's just a fun way to interact with us. Like, you don't have to like tune in for like a specific time. We're not going to be doing giveaways during gameplay, but it's just a fun extra way to interact with you guys. And it's something that, I mean, I play video games not a lot, but a fair amount. So it's just something that I'm going to be doing anyways. So why not get a chance? So look for us on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, All Things Nerd Pod or All Things Nerd Podcast.
And look for our live stream April 23rd at about 6 p.m. for the release of Mortal Kombat. And we're going to be fucking giving some cool shit away. We're going to be drinking. Hopefully you guys will drink with us. Yeah. And we'll do some trivia and we'll give away some cool stuff. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. And also, last time that we decided to do a power hour, it turned into like 2.5 hours. Just because you guys were interacting. So we're going
to... We'll go as long as you guys want us to.
The power hour might not.
The power hour is an hour. So we'll shut it down at an hour. But if you guys are like still like asking us questions and shit, like we'll keep it alive.
Absolutely.
That's totally up to you guys.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, so with that being said, I think we're going to close out this week's episode. Just want to say we love you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of this.
The coaster stuck to my shot glass. Oh.
And yeah, this has been the All Things Nerd Podcast.